It's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais in Ontario, Canada, with episode number 98 of the Yakking Show. This is a show for awakening you to new perspectives. We talk about life, business, and more, and we try and bring you tips and ideas for the changing world we're living in, and it's certainly changing at the moment. If you like our show, please subscribe to the channel you're watching or listening on. The more subscribers we get, the more it helps our guests get exposure. And you might be a guest on our show one day, so the more exposure for everyone, the better for you too. As always, we have an interesting lineup of guests, and today is no exception. But it's not my job to introduce the guest because Kathleen does it so much better than I do. So first, let me welcome my co-host from Waterloo, Kathleen. How are you, Kathleen?
I'm doing great, Peter. How are you?
Good, thanks. Good.
And thank you all so very much for tuning into our show. We so appreciate you, and we love reading your comments, so please keep them coming. And if anyone out there is interested in becoming a guest on our show, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Peter or myself. And as Peter mentioned, we have another special guest with us today, and I'm excited for her to be here with us. Her name is Nicole Anderson. Hello, Nicole. How are you?
Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Peter. Thank you for having me.
Well, Nicole, you founded an organization called Camping for Women, and it's you're very well known within the outdoor travel sector, but many may not have heard about this. So can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what led you to start this amazing organization, Camping for Women?
Well, I've always loved the outdoors and the health benefits it brings to being outside in nature. And I started this as a result of being ill and trying to recover. And I thought, when I recover, I will be outdoors more and learn to enjoy it more, learn to do what I always wanted to do, go outside, go hiking, go camping, spend a lot of time outdoors and experience nature. And when I was trying to discover that, I started on the internet and I found that there was nothing there from a women's perspective, not much, not a lot that suited myself.
And why specifically women, Nicole?
Well, traditionally, I guess that's been outdoor activities and camping. It's been the realm of male aspect. And sometimes it's just certain things were just not suitable. I needed to know that it would be safe, something I could find information for myself to go outside in nature, experience that as a single woman and be safe and have the right and feel comfortable doing that. So I decided, well, I'll make it an opportunity. I'll try and create a website and I'll get some feedback from other people around the globe. So it just started as me searching for information. It's turned into something bigger. That's all. That's how it sort of come about.
Excellent.
Oh, very good, very good. And did you focus on the camping aspect right from the start? Because you've since branched into traveling all sorts of different ways of being outside, right?
You know, that sort of, I guess camping for women is just a concept. And I think that it's something that's not universally accepted, like camping for women in the outdoors around the world, just because the outdoors and outdoor activities has traditionally been associated to men, like the male the dominant influence outside. And I thought, well, let's change that. Let's find something that will get women outside and get them to enjoy nature. And this was the way that I could do that without any restrictions or borders or anything. I can get that information, put it together and see what happens.
Very good. I got to throw in a quick one that I think a lot of women around the world have been reading your blog, because in 2019, I went to Europe and I did a little hike on the Camino de Santiago, and I would estimate 60 to 70% of the pilgrims on that, at that time I was doing it, were women. By far the majority were women and not men. And yes. I'll just add to that I spoke to one Dutch lady of about I would say 40, maybe late 30s, early 40s. And the year before, she cycled 2,500 kilometers from Holland to Santiago with no hotels booked. And she took a tent so that when she couldn't find a pilgrim hospital, she'd camp in a farmer's field. Did it all on her own. And I said, did you have any problems? She said, not one. She said, everything went absolutely no problem. So it just shows you people are listening to you.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. And actually, that's on my bucket list to do that trail.
Back to Kathleen, you got something else you wanted to ask Nicole.
Well, I have to chime in here because I'm an avid hiker and I just absolutely love hiking, specifically in Ireland. It's just magnificent, but that's my story. This isn't about me. But you have, there are so many travel blogs out there and sites today about travel. You focus on the outdoors. Can you tell us about the content of your blogs on your website?
Well, focusing on outdoors is something. I guess it's when you travel and you're outdoors to get to know the essence of a place that you're in and the community. I believe that you need to experience nature. I mean, I just think it's exhilarating being outside. Mm-hmm. Feeling the breeze and the trees and the air and the water. It's just how I understand and connect with people when I'm out and about across the world. And places I go to tend to be off the beaten track.
Those are
where
the best.
Where people don't seem to travel. And it's just, I think the major tourist attractions in the city, I think that they're done to death. I think let's experience what it really is to be outdoors and to be involved, I guess,
right,
in the place that you are and the community that you're in.
What locations specifically do you have you talked about or written about?
Well, Africa, Asia, Europe. I've been to a few places. In terms of something that's remote, I have been to Easter Island and had a good look around there.
Wow! Yeah.
And it's somewhere where I just wanted to go. I thought, well, that's one of the remote, the remotest places I can find from here. I think I'll go and have a look. And it was amazing. It was just beautiful. And there's just nothing, there are Moai statues and just a general, a small population. It was just amazing. Something I would never normally get to. And I don't think a lot of people have traveled to. Mm-hmm. Egypt, traveled through Egypt.
Oh, that was on my bucket list. Yes. Oh my goodness.
And, Norway.
Yeah.
Just and I've made a natural beauty travel series about that. I travelled to Norway because James's family is from Norway, and I thought, well, while I'm there, let's have a look around and do some hikes and do some things. And we went to Prekenstollen, very difficult climb. I only made it 3/4 of the way up, but it's okay.
Good.
Next time I go there, I'll make it.
Well done. Yeah. Well done. Wow. So then your blog is, your website are different to a lot of travel blogs in that you write a fair bit of content yourself, but you have a huge number of contributors to your website from all over the world, from what I can gather. So did that evolve or did you plan it that way?
It didn't evolve. It was just something that, well, I thought, to be honest, I think that it's better to have the input from other people. I'm sure that there's many women around the world with lots of knowledge and their own experiences that would like to be heard. It would just be boring if it was just from the point of the point of view of from one single blogger on her own. So I didn't really want the site to be centered around me. As I say, it was just something that I was doing in process of recovering from an illness, and it just turned out that way, that I put out a little ad to, does anyone want to contribute to this site? And there was just an influx of contributors. I believe I've got over 100 contributors now, and so it just seems to have taken off a little bit.
And I'm curious, is there any types of content that you find are particularly popular compared to others?
What seems to be downloaded a lot is the how-to pages from the resources page, like what to take with you when you go out, how to be safe in the outdoors, what you need to, what should you do. We've got some, there's a couple of resources that we made. What do you want to eat? What do you eat in the outdoors? What do you do if you take children with you in the outdoors? What do you do if you want to take your pets? A lot of people travel with pets. It's amazing, particularly dogs. So I put together some things with one of the other contributors, like this is a camping thing that we've published. It's just a camping cuisine cookbook that something for hiking that we published, and they're available online and in hard copy, and that's just something that the contributors and myself have put together. I don't know if you can, it's a basic thing, but it's just, I don't know if you can see it, but
wow, yeah, very good. Very good.
I'll pop links online, but yeah, it's quite good.
And you bring up a good point, because with respect to the how-tos, that is so, most people when they're planning a trip, and if they've never actually gone on a hiking trip before or a camping trip, there's so many things you have to think about in terms of what you're packing that they may not even think of. For instance, here in the Canadian North, wildlife and bears is an issue, right? So they're told to bring bear spray and watch out for it. So there's so many things that, so that's so valuable. Back to you, Peter.
Yeah, and I was just thinking from my experience again on my little walk in Europe, I came across some novices who hadn't been to your blog and hadn't read any instructions, and people in totally inappropriate shoes, and people who'd bought new walking shoes like the week before and not worn them in, and they've got blisters all over themselves. People who had to give up because they were so ill prepared. And I thought, wow, how can you come all this way and try and do this and you haven't done any preparation? It's just mind-boggling. And of course, there were some really simple tips that that I knew, but other people didn't. And one of them was, when the weather gets warm, hang a face cloth with a safety pin on the shoulder of your strap of your pack, so you can wipe your face when you get hot, instead of having to pull it out. Simple little things that I learned many years ago. A lot of people didn't know. So yeah, what was I going to ask you? You've won a number of awards and been recognized in all sorts of other media. Does that help you with getting more readers and more visitors to your blog?
Well, it's not something that that we focused on, but it's nice to be recognised, I guess, by peers in that world, in the blogging world, and it's I guess by receiving that recognition, it does extend the reach of the site. Well, I expect it does, and I am assuming that it would attract the attention of the big search engines, I guess, and in turn, I expect that would increase the audience, the actual the audience participation to the site and reaction to it. But yeah, no, it's not something that I focused on and even knew about, to be quite honest. Received emails from areas saying, "Oh, you've been nominated for this." Okay.
Well, congratulations. Anyway, yes. Kathleen, I want to ask Nicole something else, and it's a little variation on the standard question we ask lots of our guests who are in business, and I'm going to change around a little bit. You mentioned earlier that you started this website and this whole project while you were recovering from an illness. Now, I don't want to go into your illness unless you do. Had you done a lot of writing before, or any website work before? No.
Nothing. I started with, let's say I asked Google, so to speak. Yeah. I just Googled, how do I make a website? How do I learn to do this? And they came up, I think it said something, they came up with WordPress. And to be honest, it took a long time, but I followed the instructions just literally to,
Okay.
you know.
So
you know,
here we have a wonderful example of someone who did something for therapeutic reasons, just put it like that, and has made an outstanding success. And I mean, I've spent time on your website, and our readers will, and listeners will, when they see the link later on. It really is a successful website with huge number of contributors, huge number of visitors, and you started from scratch, doing nothing, with no training in this. So isn't that example, Kathleen, of if you put your mind to something, what you can do?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So Nicole, I'm curious, what do you attribute your success to with respect to this website?
I think it's because it's well, I think it's successful because it's inclusive to everybody. So in that we genuinely welcome contributors from everywhere. So there's no barrier to that. Everyone is welcome to contribute, and I believe every outdoor loving female has something to contribute. Even I think it's just this inclusiveness, and we genuinely, because we welcome everyone. I mean, even male. I mean, the website is created for women by women, but obviously I welcome male readers and suppliers and sponsors and all that sort of stuff. So it's just that we're inclusive, and we allow, and I hope with this that that I'm helping other women do something to better their lives, to improve themselves. But I think it's been successful because we're inclusive. We're not a group.
Right.
It's not a little club that's locked down it's not a private group or a private club. It's just something that anyone can access.
So I'm curious for our audience, some people are out there and they would love to start up a website and see great success from it. So when you first started, how did you gain traction? How was it that you were able to get it out there for people to know about you, first of all?
Well, I guess for each contributor, they have their own little network. So the more people from different places that did contribute.
Did you start with people you knew first, and that it's sort of grew from there?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Then I realized that, I've got a contributor from North America. I have a contributor from South America. I have someone from Asia. And then I realized what was happening. I didn't sort of realize at first, and it just sort of developed from there. And all of a sudden, I wasn't writing everything. I was having people come in and wanting to share their experiences, which is how it turned out to be a global resource. It wasn't just me trying to recover from a stroke and learn to work technology and things like that. So that's how it sort of came about.
Well done. And I've got to throw in, as a male in the minority on the show right at the moment, but I'll speak for myself as a reader of quite a lot of your content, and I will read more. I find it is wonderful from a male perspective. There is some really good information and advice there that's equally applicable to male and female. So, but while I've got your attention, I'm going to ask you another one, which I hadn't thought of before, and I'll tell you why I ask it in a moment. What would you say the average age of your readers is?
I don't know. To be honest, I would say 20s, between maybe 50. I'm 50.
Yeah, you're probably spot on. I'll tell you why I asked the question. I mentioned on my experience on the Camino that the majority of hikers and pilgrims were women. I was 69 when I did it, and I thought I'd be one of the oldest ones on the road. No way. There were many, many women and men in their 70s and 80s. There was an 84-year-old lady from Eastern Australia, but further south than your part of the world. I can't remember exactly. Maybe Adelaide. I can't remember. And she had walked 100 kilometers with her daughter. Her daughter had done longer, and then her mum had flown out to join her. And she was 84, and she'd walked 100 kilometers in, I don't know, 8 days or something. And she was bouncing around at the end like a teenager. So
Oh,
that was amazing.
that is, yeah, that's something. That is really something. I would like to be able to do that when I'm 84.
That's right.
That would be amazing.
And there was another one from Australia too, who I was talking to at the airport, and she said, "Did you have a good pilgrimage?" I said, "Yes." She said, "How far did you walk?" I said, just 250 kilometers. What about you? "Oh, I did about 600 from France, and when I got to Santiago, I still had 2 days before my flight, so I thought I'd do another 100 down to the coast and back again." And she wasn't 80, but she was in her late 70s on her own.
Amazing.
Yeah, quite amazing.
Coming from this part of the globe, I guess, when we travel over there, we're going to do everything. We're going to do as much as we can. It's a long way to go.
That's right. That's right. So where next? Where does your project and your Camping for Women go into the future, Nicole?
Well, I would probably like it to be a bigger version of itself, I guess, and continue to promote women's health and being and experiencing the outdoors and having fun and bettering women's lives in the process. I guess that's how I would like to see it. As many outdoor loving women as possible, and their family and friends and anyone for that matter, to get out there and have a go. I think
excellent.
That's important.
So Nicole, we're almost out of time. So how do people contact you?
Okay, well, they can go onto the website and subscribe by providing their name and email address. To contact me directly, they can send me an email, info@campingforwomen.com or nicole@campingforwomen.com. Just on that, if people do subscribe, obviously they'll get a notification every time I publish. So, and and if they're happy to share, if they do subscribe, then please share it with their friends and family, and every email will be answered. I promise that I will answer.
Excellent. And our listeners and viewers can get your books on your website. They can order direct from the website.
Yes, from the publications area on the website.
Excellent.
You can download that.
And a lot of people now, in the days of smartphones, mobile phones, are more focused on Facebook and Instagram. Are you on those two as well?
I have a following on Facebook and Twitter of around 20,000.
Okay.
I'm not on Instagram.
What's your Twitter?
I'd like to learn a bit more about social media in the future. It's not something that I'm really trained in, and to be quite, and I'm not that savvy with yet, but I will be.
Okay. What's your Twitter handle?
Camping for Women.
Oh, it is. Okay, that's fine. I may have found you. I don't know. In fact, I think I first found you on Twitter. I think that's where I saw you the very first time. We'll put that on there as well. Yeah. Well, that's enough for me. I do too much talking. Thank you so much, Nicole. Back to Kathleen.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. It was a delight to have you on the show. We appreciated having you. And we appreciate all of you for tuning into our show. We so enjoy reading your comments, so please keep them coming. And if anyone out there is interested in being a guest on our show, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Peter or myself. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.
Goodbye.